Just a quick reminder before we get into the lesson to download the hands-on lab exercises that accompany this complete CCNA course. I'll include the link in the description. Also remember to subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you don't miss any of the lessons in the course. Okay, let's get into it. In this lecture, you'll see how to do some of the best practice global configuration with a lab demo. So a very simple lab. We've got a couple of PCs on the left in the 10.0.0.0/24 subnet. The router R1 has got IP address 10.0.0.1, and on the other side of the router there's an NTP server at 10.0.1.100. So first thing to do is to jump onto the router R1 and let's configure a login banner. So I'll go to the enable prompt and then go to global configuration, and the command is banner login, and then enter a delimiter like one of the characters from the top line, or here I'll use the double quotes, and then hit enter. When you hit enter, the router will tell you enter the text message you want to use and then end with the same character again. So let's use a banner of authorized users only. And then when I'm done, I hit the double quotes again and hit enter, and then that will take the command. So let's check this working. So I'll go on to the PC1, and I will telnet to 10.0.0.1, and when I do that, you can see there is the banner message, authorized users only. I'd then be able to enter my password to log in. Okay, so that's configuring a login banner. The other thing I want to show you here is configuring NTP. So if we go back onto R1 to check what the current time is set as, at the enable prompt we can do a show clock, and that will tell us the current date and time. And I can see that right now, and this is the kind of thing you do sometimes run into the real world, is that it is at the universal UTC time, and it thinks it's March the 1st in 1993 right now. So I want to have this configured with the correct time. I could manually set the clock on the router here, but the problem is that it doesn't have a great clock and it's going to get out of time. Just like if you had a wristwatch, unless it's a really good one, in a year's time, it's not going to have really accurate time. So I want to have this synchronized with an external NTP server that I know does have a really good clock on there. So in the lab, let's have a look and see where our NTP server was. It's at 10.0.1.100. So back on R1, first thing I want to do is set the correct time zone. Let's say that this router is in Sydney, Australia. So I'll go to global configuration and I'll say that the clock time zone is AEST, which is for Australian Eastern Standard Time, and Australia is ahead of UTC by 10 hours, so I'll say 10. So if you're in the US and you're behind UTC, it will be -8, for example. Australia is +10, but you don't type +10, you just say 10 to mean it's 10 hours after UTC. Then I need to specify where the NTP server is, so the command for that is NTP server. Again, NTP server makes the router an NTP client, not an NTP server, and the IP address of the server is at 10.0.1.100. And then real world, what you would do is you would leave it 5 minutes or so and come back and check that the clock is synchronized. Because I'm in a lab environment here, it should take effect pretty much immediately. So I can do show clock now, and I can see that it has been updated to the correct time, which is just coming up to 11 p.m. in Sydney. I've got the correct time zone there and the correct date and the correct year. So that looks good. Another command to use to verify is show NTP status, and there that I can see that the clock is synchronized, so this all looks good. Okay, so that was a few of the best practice commands that you want to configure at global configuration. That wraps up this security section. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to get the complete course ad-free right now, then you can enroll in my CCNA Gold Bootcamp by clicking the link above my head or in the description. It also includes full study notes, quizzes, and 150 pages of additional troubleshooting labs you can't find anywhere else.